So, hi, I'm Leah. I'm a grateful recovering addict. I'm 36 years old. I'm a mum of one 14-year-old daughter. Her name's Jamie. I came to Gracegate in 2023. So I've been here a little while now. I was in the women's house for seven months in the Breathe program, and I've moved on to independent living now. My addiction kicked off when I was about 13, 14. Very soon I cross-addicted to methamphetamine, which started a really bad, really harmful downward spiral, a really bad cycle in my life. I wasn't myself anymore. I had really lost my identity to my addiction. I was in abusive relationships, one after the other, and I was at a point where OT were getting involved. They had concerns for my daughter. I knew that I needed to do something, but even then I didn't know what. My addiction really was my coping mechanism, even though, I knew I was losing everything. I still didn't stop. I hit rock bottom, and I ended up doing treatment. I managed to get a bit of clean time up, but I still was really distraught. I had lost custody of my daughter. I couldn't sleep through the night without waking up hysterically crying, I was so angry and so disappointed in myself and so afraid of the future, and I wasn't sure if my daughter was ever gonna want to speak to me again. Our relationship is still strained, but that's what motivated me to stay in recovery. I came into Gracegate in 2023 after I had had a lapse, and I needed something more. I just knew that I was going around in circles of thoughts that were harmful to myself. I thought about ending my life, and so I came into Gracegate and I moved into the women's house, and it was such a blessing. As soon as I moved in there, I knew that I had found the right place. That first night in the women's house, I woke up, and as I usually did, but this time, instead of panicking, I kind of felt the presence of Jesus, or the presence of God, and I knew that I didn't need to be afraid and scared in that moment. I felt the presence of God, and I just went back to sleep, and I've slept like a baby ever since. And I thought that in itself was a miracle, because I had been struggling with all of these terrifying feelings every night for the last 2 years. So when I felt that, I thought, okay, well, I need to stay here. Yeah. The first thing that changed for me was the relationships with women. I started to make friends in the women's house straight away, and I felt really comforted by those friendships. The experience that I'd had in recovery up until that point was I actually had struggled with making relationships, so I was really, really grateful to have all these women around me. And I was doing counselling with Anna. She was really helpful to me. She saw me where I was at, and she taught me about radical acceptance, and that was a big turning point for me. I started to come to terms with accepting things how they are in the present moment, and forgiving myself for the way that I had parented. I wrestled with the idea of faith at first when I was coming to church, but it was this community and coming to church and hearing the message and having the support of the counsellors and the other women, and also the support workers and everybody at the church, that I actually found hope. I didn't want to sit in my victim anymore, and even though I couldn't see the future, I knew that things were going to be okay. That was how my faith started to develop, and a lot of it was the message that I heard in church, you don't have to believe to belong, and no perfect people allowed, all of those things reinforced the idea that if I just stayed and listened, that I might find something for myself. And my faith started to grow. I started to pray more. I had been walking around with this thundercloud, and I had all these emotions, and things would happen and I'd have like a bad reaction. And then one day I realized that what I needed to do was hand it over to God. And it was my faith in God that helped me to move through that. Having Jesus in my life, it's really changed a lot for me. I feel grateful for my life every day that I live in independent living. I have a safe roof over my head and I have a safe community to be in. I'm building relationships with people that aren't toxic for me and they're not abusive, and I've really broken so many cycles thanks to God. I do want to thank Fee, my directions coach in the women's house. Her strength and her companionship was what kept me here, and encouraging me to be willing and open as well, so those were like massive things for me. There's also been a lot of other people in the church. John and Enza, they held space for me right at the beginning, for me to find somewhere to live within Gracegate. Crystal also she's been a massive support. I really developed a real appreciation for Crystal after going on hiking trips with her. And spending that time with her outside the program, and she really encouraged an enthusiasm for health in my life. Shay as well. Shay's been my pastor, and she's nurtured me through the process of doing Starting Point and getting to this point, and that relationship with Shay started at Life Group. She always answered all the questions that I had about faith, and she's helped me to build my understanding of the life of Jesus. So that has gone from sort of a curiosity and into like an entire area of interest in my life. I'm really thankful for Shay. So my decision today to get baptized, it's been a long time coming. I came in here through struggles with addiction. I found a way of living here, and I want to commit to that because I'm living it. I've been thinking about it for a while, and I decided to stop overthinking and accept the help that God's offering me. Today I'm going public with my faith, and accepting my new way of life with Jesus Christ as my Lord and my Savior and my higher power.